It's 11 o'clock. We are initiating a howl in 10. Over. Rock and roll. Hua! Hua! Yeah. Yes. Yes, I did. Yep.
That was a big step or a toss.
Yep. Most definitely. Yeah. That's cool. Okay. Do we have the night vision? Let me turn this off and get something's in order to try to get eyes on it. Can't see it. I hear it, I can't see it. All right, we are at the mattress site, and we initiated a call, which was a really cool call, and it was kind of aggressive, and it caught me a little off guard, so it was a good one. But we're overlooking the river, and there's a huge drop, and right after the call, we heard what sounded some kind of a noise that initially, to me, I thought it was maybe like something hitting the ground or in the water or something like that, but then there was very obviously something was thrown in the water within maybe 20 seconds of the call, a very obvious splash. And then right after that, we heard what sounded to most of us like something walking through the water, and there were very obvious, very deliberate steps walking through the water, and it seemed kind of like they were walking towards us. And so what we're doing now, after potentially initiating that contact, we're moving back along the road to try to draw whatever it is to more people, because we're kind of out of radio contact, and it might be interesting to see if we can kind of play a Pied Piper routine and see if we can bring anything along with us. So that's where we are right now.
So this is Beaver View, Friday night, with the team. Everybody waving. Yay!
The Beaver team.
I'm not saying that. All right. Yeah. So we are going to do some call blasting here in just a few minutes, and we'll see what happens. Okay.
It's real real chance that the mosquitoes are bad right now. We're setting up at the Fox River, and we just call blasted, and we have a thermal unit. In this case, it's a hood-mounted thermal unit set up looking down the Fox River. We have a parabolic mic set up, and I'll show you all of those in a minute. Caroline is in the car working the thermal unit. So let's take a look, shall we? She's being eaten by mosquitoes as well.
You see that crack? That crack is not protecting me.
Here's the thermal unit that we're using. And I'm going to walk in front of it to go to our parabolic mic that's set up. Down here is the river. You're not going to be able to see it, but I guarantee you it's down there. This is all moss and blueberries, and some of the blueberries are starting to ripen, which guarantees no bears, I'm certain. And this is, I can't tell, but it's our parabolic mic setup. Right in there. Pretty cool deal.
Went up there in 2 different groups, and we just made a lot of noise out there. You know, we weren't real quiet. Started to rain. We were hearing radio communications, people are packing it up and going in. So we really weren't. I don't think anybody was really trying all that hard. And we thought, well, it's about time to start coming back. So we came down off the ridge. And last year there was a family that was out there that had an experience. And I just kind of proposed, why don't we try to do what they did last year, which was they went from the ridge, down off the ridge into the valley, and they sat there for a few minutes, and when they walked in, they thought they had a presence coming out with them out of the woods.
I think before we left the ridge, she actually was the first to see the shadowy movements between the trees on top of the ridge.
So we came down off the ridge, and we came down by his tent, which wasn't even down in the valley, and a couple of people had said, I think I saw movement between the dark and the not so dark areas on the horizon.
And when you're looking up at the ridge, the sky was still light enough to where if something moved between the trees, you could pretty clearly see it.
Was that towards the road you came, or was it away from the road?
We'd be facing away from the road.
Way away from
up
the road.
towards the swamp to the east.
Okay.
So before we decided, well, let's come down to the valley, and let's sit down in the valley. Before we even came down, there was a report of somebody seeing eye shine or some sort of light flicker, you know, in the foliage. And so we came down, we sat in the area here at the bottom of the valley for a few minutes, and then we started walking down the roadway. And then I don't know if I was the first one to see it or who was the first one to see it, but off to the right, somebody thought they saw a light flicker. And so we would all stop and we would look, and then it would just be, I think I saw something. Where was it? To my 11. It would be right in front of me. So you already picture yourself in the dark, where I can't see his face, but I know he's standing next to me, and he's saying, where is it? Where is it? And you're kind of going like this, that direction, because you don't want to point. You don't want to point. I'm saying my 1 o'clock, and I'm looking this direction. You know, and you'll see that, and you're only, you know, below this level, it's nothing but complete pitch darkness. You know, and above that you can see some assimilation of where the trees stick up and the grayness in the sky. But pretty much we would sit there for, gosh, probably 15 minutes. We'd sit there and we would start to be able to collaborate actual, probably 2 to 3 second sightings of what we think could be eye shine or single or 2 lights at the same time. Almost all of them were red, as far as I gathered from it. But when things eased up, we would move down probably another 50 yards, and we'd stop again, and it would start right back up again.
Larry, you said you saw a light, a single light that you thought was a pale blue.
Yes, there was some blue. I thought I saw some that were blue. Well, yes, I did see some that were blue. And it was very much, if you were looking, it got to the point where we were looking for it, and once you were looking for it, it was a lot easier to see. It wasn't like somebody standing in the woods with a flashlight, turning it on and turning it off. You know, and over the years I always thought, oh, eye shine. You know, that's like seeing a deer when you're driving in your car. You're going to see two great big bright lights standing off to the side of the road. It's not like that. At least it wasn't last night. I had seen bright eye shine down in Arkansas. This was nothing like that. It was very much like you have a 1 watt light bulb that's running out of battery. You hit the on button, it flashes really quick, and then it just kind of dies out over 2 or 3 seconds. And there were, I thought, at one point I saw one actually create, like it would look down and you can see the illumination coming down in the ground. So there were a number of times where we saw one at a time, and many times where at least I saw 2. Other people can put in on what they thought they saw, but we probably stopped in 5 or 6 different places, and the closer we got to the road, the more wicked it got. It was in front of us, and then it was behind us as well. And then the biggest show was right at the very end, where we saw just the biggest, brightest red lights coming down the trail at us. Turned out to be the 2 guys that were around. And I know me and her, we were like, oh my God, it's coming at us! But,
yeah, I don't know if I've ever been in the woods when it's that dark. I mean, it was dark. I couldn't see it.
Yeah. Once you guys pulled out last night, I'm standing there by the car, it's just, I couldn't see nothing.
Yeah.
I couldn't even see the car when it was standing right in front of me.
It was so dark, I'll bet you we were probably 200 yards away. We could still see that faint glow stick.
Yeah, we had the glow stick up in the. Did it stay there, the glow stick?
I didn't walk up to the top of the ridge today.
Did you guys have thermals or night vision with you?
No, I didn't. I have night vision, but I didn't bring it with me because I knew it was going to rain. So
I
didn't take it
had
with
one,
me.
and we used it up on the ridge, but we didn't use it down the trail.
We also put a deer.
Yeah, how's the deer decoy still there?
It's still there. You see that right from the top.
Brought a feather flex deer decoy, it was, you know, like a bedded down doe, and I set it up on top of a ridge, just like I was down in the dirt, and set it up there, properly set up, and so it looked like it was bedded down there, and I mean, deer called just before we left, nothing really responded that I could hear.
Sounded cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat.
At 1:30, I was laying in the tent there, and I heard a thud, and I can actually feel it even when I was laying on an air mattress. And it was just one thud, there was nothing after that. Then about 3:30, I could hear something outside the tent, but it was so faint that the rain was drowning out all the noise. After that, I didn't experience anything.
I'm standing at the boat launch, and this area that I'm looking at right now is where we've spent many of our nights, particularly last night under that canopy right there. But my tent is the little green thing over in the corner there, and a bunch of us are here, many more of us are over at the base camp, and a few of us are at the northern satellite camp. But the water level's up dramatically. Just last week, Caroline and I canoed this, and it was 95 degrees, unbelievably hot. The black flies were terrible, but this water level's up dramatically. It is nowhere near as warm, but it's been raining pretty much all night and all day today. People are still in pretty decent spirits. The creek over here is flowing in to the main river and bringing in a lot of silt. It's kind of an interesting thing to see. But over here last year, there was a report of some type of lights, possible eye shine, something to that effect. Over in this general area, we had last weekend, we had a thermal hit something peeking around a tree at us, probably a deer, hard to tell though. And then we had a couple of objects, however, thrown at us over here while Carolyn and I and her son were sitting here, and it went through the trees, not down, it went actually across, so it was kind of interesting. I couldn't find it. It was late, but really interesting to have things like that happen.
It was more of an immature type bark, to say the least.
Like somebody talking, making noises through a
Correct.
kazoo.
Right. One saying something to somebody else.
Can anyone try to recreate it a little bit?
So we've all tried.
So it wasn't a singular event. So it was like hee, hoo, hoo, or haw, haw. It was that kind of sounding, but it had changes in inflection. So like hee, hoo, haw, haw, haw. It's like it was struggling to speak or to embellish, and it sounded to us like it was pleading us not to go. And so, how many times did this occur?
The barks were at least 6 times prior to us to start off the second time.
Yeah.
And then
We're all turned now, looking across the bridge. And, oh my God! And it's loud.
It's
This
loud.
is not like you're straining. This is loud, and it's multiples. It's not from one creature. It's from multiples. And it sounded to us like they left where they were in the wooded area and came to the bridge on the other side, and maybe were on the sides of the bridge, talking across the pond to us.
Oh, it's funny because as we're going along, of course there's geese and there's winds and stuff, and this guy being a hunter, there are many times they're like, "Do you hear that?" And you go,
Crush our dreams all
You know, when we get to this thing, we start to leave, and this stuff goes off, and we look at him, and he's doing a dance.
I've never heard that before.
The hee-haw stuff was multiple individuals.
Multiple.
Like
Because
one going hee, another going haw, or
no, like
one
one
go hee-haw, and the other one go hee-haw.
over the top of the other one. Even. So they were like, they were like, so you hear multiples, they were competing with each other, trying to talk to us or plead. So we heard several of these, like Mike said, maybe 6. And we're laughing, and we're like, oh my God, this is incredible. This is unbelievable. We're going to start to leave. We turned to take 2 steps. They did it again, louder.
Yeah.
Very loud.
And then when we stopped again, they stopped.
Right.
So we waited 5 minutes or so and didn't hear it again. So then we turned and walked away again, and then they started again.
So this was kind of like, we were trying to piece it together, but why are you guys going? Hey, hey guys, come on back. Like they were having fun watching us, and we departed.
So they were doing,
in the morning.
I saw humans dance.
Yeah.
They do exist.
You guys have your recorders on? Get this on record?
I haven't listened to it yet. I did have one going. I think but I haven't gone back to it yet.
Yeah, that'd be very interesting to hear.
You know, it's kind of funny because I was thinking about this. I know Dave and I were talking about this, and you got the feeling that it was kind of pleading for you to come back. Yeah. And what if that was like 1 or 2 sitting right there, pleading for you to come back, so you could come back and then.
Oh, that's encouraging. Who's going back tonight?
Jim, you're not saying these short feet like butt was big.
The liver.
Yeah.
That's real close. That's right there. Horse is even getting it.